Would you say that the seizures ending is one of the biggest ways that your life is different after doing QT, or just one of them?
Um, I would say one of the like most obvious tangible impacts is the medical side of things. I haven't had a seizure in the longest period since I got diagnosed, and last year I was going through a big like sarcoidosis breakout and had welts all over my arm again, and signs of sarcoidosis in my internal organs. So had to go through a whole nother big round of testing and everything. And by the time it took about 3 months to go through the testing. By the time that was all done, everything had pretty much cleared up on its own, just from the behavioral changes that I was making along the way. And I think a big part that I lacked in other counseling and other therapy models. So I was trying to feel better for a good 5 years leading into this. So I had worked with 4 different counselors, wasn't really happy with them. Me and my wife, Tara, had seen marriage counselors, wasn't really happy with the advice I was getting from them. So this kind of felt like the last stop on the track, if that makes sense, of like, okay, I've seen a psychiatrist, I'm on these pills. I was super resistant to taking antidepressants for years and years. And I was like, I mean, it can't get any worse than it is now, so I might as well give in and get on these pills. So I had basically done like everything that I felt like I could. And I think through all of it, what was missing was like personal accountability behind it all. The like accepting responsibility for, the stake that I have in these feelings, in these emotions that ultimately are your lens for everything that you're doing in your life. So I think like that was one of the big things where the QT process is very inviting and it feels very safe. But at the point where it needs to get a little bit harder, it gets hard. So, and I think like that's not present in EMDR and CBT and different behavioral therapy practices, because I tried those things and I felt like a lot of the systems I was given throughout those processes revolved around blocking out all these things that were hard for me to handle, of like, maybe you don't need that person in your life, maybe they're not the right person for you, and maybe just building systems around the way that you feel instead of learning how to process your feelings better and be okay with the way that things are, if that makes sense. So like I mean, like, the most tangible thing is, health, but from like the outside of like what other people can't see, like everything else in my life has changed. My marriage has gotten a lot better. I'm a lot more, I have better relationships with pretty much every member of my family as a result of this. And I have better relationships with my business partners. I went through a partial acquisition of a company, actually bought my childhood home from my parents during that process so that I could move back home and be closer to my family. So, in the 15 months that I've been doing this, basically every part of my life has changed. I own a house. I live somewhere else. I'm spending way more time with my friends and family than I have in the last decade. I'm in the happiest place I've been in with my wife in the 4 years that we've been married. So, and the 9 years that we've been together, we both agree like this is the best it's ever been. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that has changed from going through this process. So.